'Cause you're here.
I am Stevie.
Imagine you're celebrating your anniversary in a quiet little cabin, far from the city, far from anyone who knows your name. The night's calm, the woods are silent, until there's a knock at the door. A woman you don't know asks a single question. From there, your entire world unravels. That's exactly what happens in The Strangers Chapter 1, a brutal, unnerving survival story that reminds us evil doesn't need a reason. Sometimes it just shows up because you're there. The Strangers Chapter 1 is a 2024 American horror film. It's the third movie in the Strangers franchise and the first entry in what's planned as a brand new standalone trilogy. It's directed by Renny Harlin and stars Madeleine Pesch and Freud Gutierrez as a couple whose road trip is violently derailed when they cross paths with three masked psychopaths: Scarecrow, Pin-Up Girl and Dollface. What makes this trilogy unique is that all three films were shot back to back. The story unfolds over just a few days following the couple's encounters with the killers. Harlin has confirmed these films take place in the same universe as the earlier Stranger entries, but the goal here is to expand the mythology and build a larger Strangers universe. Production itself was an ambitious feat. Not only did Harlin and his crew shoot this first film in 52 days, they actually filmed the entire trilogy in the same window. Harlin described it as the challenge of a lifetime.
The challenge was to be shooting three movies at the same time and being able to adjust from one movie to another in a matter of few hours, for the actors, for the crew, for myself, being also always emotionally in the right place at the right time. And the opportunity was that you get to explore these characters for 4.5 hours instead of a normal hour and a half. And I literally dragged these poor actors through hell, and they never complain and never open the door without being sure that they know who's out there.
Reception to Chapter 1 has been rough. On review aggregator sites, it scored just 21% from critics and 44% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So with that being said, let's dive into the film itself. We open in the woods, a classic horror opening. A man is sprinting, completely frantic, like he's running for his life. The score matches his panic, echoing every heartbeat. He falls, clearly injured, and then three masked figures appear. The screen cuts to black after one of them swings the axe into the man. Clearly, this film won't be holding back. Text fades about a number of violent crimes carried out in America each year. A chilling reminder that this story is just one of many. Over the top, we hear the audio of a 911 call, setting the scene perfectly. Cut to our main couple, Maya and Ryan. They're on their way to Portland. Maya's got a big job interview lined up, and it's also their 5-year anniversary, a nice milestone. On the road, they narrowly avoid an accident, and Ryan, who struggles with asthma, has to calm himself down using his inhaler. As the drive continues, they venture further and further from civilization, eventually pulling into a diner in a small town called Venus. Initially, the locals are standoffish, clearly not used to outsiders. A couple inside overhears it's their anniversary and pokes fun at Ryan for not proposing yet. He snaps back, clearly sensitive about it. As they leave, they spot a missing persons flyer, Jeff Morrell. Connecting the dots, we know this is the poor guy who got axed to death in the opening scene. As they look to set off again, their car suddenly starts acting up. Enter Rudy, the mechanic, who of course just happens to be nearby and owns the local garage. He's a little too convenient. The part won't be ready till tomorrow, but Shelley, a waitress from the diner, suggests they stay at a nearby Airbnb. Ryan suspects Rudy might have sabotaged their car, but they don't have many options. While they wait for Shelley, two young boys approach them, preaching ominous religious lines about sin and salvation. Not exactly the comforting road trip vibe you want. Finally, they arrive at the cabin, thanks to a lift from Shelley. It's quaint, peaceful, and for a moment, it seems like the perfect anniversary spot. They find the key, and Maya leaves a voicemail for a guy named Joe about the fridge being out. Ryan and Maya relax outside, soaking in the silence of the woods. But of course, peace never lasts long. As they're enjoying themselves, as couples do, there's a loud knock at the door. When Ryan answers, a woman stands in the shadows, her face unseen. She asks,
Tamara here?
Maya explains she has the wrong house, but the stranger lingers. Ryan turns away for a second, and when he looks back, she's gone. That night, Ryan and Maya talk about their future together. Maya hints that maybe she's ready for a proposal after all, and things feel quite optimistic. Then Ryan remembers he left his inhaler in the car back at the garage. He sets out on a motorbike to retrieve it, leaving Maya alone in the cabin. Maya calls a friend to chat, but soon hears loud banging at the door. She calls out for Ryan, but no response. Then a woman's voice asks again,
"Is Tamara here?"
When she peers outside, someone covers the peephole. Maya locks the door, but the banging continues. Suddenly, movement inside the house. Someone is already inside, but Maya is unaware. Objects have moved, and a creepy female voice sings Rockabye Baby, and it's clear Maya is being toyed with. She tries to calm herself with a joint and some music, but the atmosphere only grows more sinister. Meanwhile, Ryan retrieves his inhaler, but not without another awkward run-in with the mechanic, Rudy. On his way back, he stops at a burger van where locals again remind him about the missing posters. There's a growing sense this whole town knows something. Back at the cabin, Maya plays piano. Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, of all things. It should be calming, but instead it's unsettling. And we see in a mirror behind her the reflection of a man in a scarecrow mask silently watching. She doesn't notice. Soon the tension ramps up. Shower scenes, power outages and mysterious banging, all classic horror beat. Maya is finally confronted by one of the intruders. Dollface is inside the house, and when Ryan suddenly returns, he makes her doubt herself due to the strength of the weed that she smoked.
Is that what you saw?
I mean, maybe.
That is until he sees a woman in the distance outside of the cabin. Although not close enough to see her face, it would once again appear to be Dollface. He chases her off. Just when things settle and they're eating their food, blood literally starts dripping from above. They both look up and see a dead chicken hanging from the ceiling. It's grotesque, and it's the first big "oh, we're screwed" moment.
Lock the front door!
From there, the attack escalates. The strangers hack through the doors with axes, leaving sinister messages on the walls, and play piano renditions of the same sonata Maya performed earlier. It's psychological torture. Ryan and Maya try to escape, but find the motorbike blown up in flames by Scarecrow. Forced back in the cabin, they crawl through the filthy crawl space, with Maya injuring her hand on a nail, barely stifling her screams as one of the strangers lurks above. They make their way to a shed, but Maya is attacked by Scarecrow while Pin-Up Girl watches. However, Ryan now has a shotgun and scares them off. As they make their way outside, tragedy strikes. Ryan accidentally shoots Joe, the man Maya called earlier about the fridge. It's a devastating mistake.
I think that's the owner, Joe.
As they jump into Joe's car, things go bad fast. The passenger side window shatters, and before Ryan can react, another vehicle plows into them side on. Behind the wheel, Scarecrow. The two cars grind together, trapping them in place. Ryan slams the shotgun back, ready to fire, but his leg is caught under the dashboard. He urges Maya to run, to save herself, and after some desperate pleading, she finally bolts into the woods. Ryan stays behind, struggling to free himself. When he finally lines up the shot at Scarecrow, the masked figure has already moved from the truck. Ryan squeezes the trigger at his silhouette in the distance, but misses. By the time he wrestles himself free, Scarecrow is gone. Meanwhile, Maya is sprinting through the woods with Dollface in pursuit. She dives into a shallow grave, pulling leaves over herself, holding her breath as Dollface lingers nearby. It works for a moment. Maya even manages to pull out a phone and dial 911, but the operator can barely hear her, and just as hope flickers, the signal cuts out. To make it worse, she realises she's lying right beside a rotting corpse. It's grim, but she clings on to the thought that maybe the police are on their way. Maya eventually abandons her hiding spot and pushes deeper into the woods, disorientated and panicked. But just when she thinks she's in the clear, Dollface ambushes her, knocking her unconscious and dragging her away. And of course, she's humming Rockabye Baby while she does it. Cut back to Scarecrow and Pin-Up Girl, stalking the woods in near silence, while Ryan stumbles through the woods with the shotgun. His ammo nearly gone, and his breathing is deteriorating. He's desperate for his inhaler. In a last-ditch effort, he cobbles together a makeshift one using a plastic bottle. but the crunch of the bottle gives him away, alerting Scarecrow. Still, Ryan rallies, re-energized. He pushes forward, calling Maya's name through the trees. He manages to sneak up on Pin-Up Girl, pressing the shotgun against her head and demanding she drops the knife. She does. For a second, it seems like he has the upper hand. He shouts, asking where Maya is, but instead of answering, Pin-Up Girl just laughs. Loud, hysterical, unhinged. Before Ryan can pull the trigger, Scarecrow blindsides him, knocking him out cold. We then cut to the cabin one final time. Maya and Ryan are tied to chairs, side by side, both beaten, both broken. They share a tearful look, realising what's about to happen. In that moment, Ryan proposes. Maya says yes. A flicker of love, even here in the middle of a nightmare. It doesn't last. Pin-Up Girl plunges a blade into Ryan's torso. All three intruders gather in ritualistic silence before Scarecrow boots Ryan's chair to the floor. He slumps lifelessly. Maya, devastated, cries out, asking the only question that matters. Why are you doing this to us? Pin-Up Girl answers, cold and cruel.
Because you're here.
Scarecrow then turns to Maya, stabbing her in the torso before kicking her chair over, just as he did with Ryan's. The three strangers stand in the room, silently admiring the aftermath, before the sound of sirens pierces the night. Without hesitation, they head outside, climbing into their pickup truck, narrowly evading the oncoming police. The killers leave, assuming both Ryan and Maya are dead, but Maya survives, barely. The film closes with her in a hospital bed. And then, just when you think it's over, the post-credits sting. Maya wakes, only to find Scarecrow lying beside her in hospital. A final gut punch that sets up the next chapter. It's an interesting concept. I can still remember watching the original Strangers back in 2008, and even though it wasn't hugely well received at the time, I personally enjoyed it. The film had this constant sense of dread running through it, and I remember feeling on edge the entire time. And honestly, I think the concept is far more unsettling than something supernatural or completely out there, because it feels like it could actually happen. It's not ghosts, it's not demons, it's just three unhinged people terrorising an unsuspecting couple. First psychologically and then physically. And I think that realism is what makes it hit even harder. I think it also helps that the story is loosely inspired by real events. From the Manson family murders to the Keddy cabin murders, and even from writer-director Brian Bertino's own childhood experience. He once explained that when he was a kid, someone knocked at his door asking for a person who didn't live at his house. Later, they discovered those people were breaking into homes that were empty. And in Strangers, the twist is someone being at home doesn't deter the attackers. It actually draws them in. That simple real-life fear is what makes the premise so effective. As for Chapter 1, I wouldn't call it a bad watch at all. Sure, it lacks some character development and depth, but it could be intentional, since the trilogy was shot in one long story. This could be seen less as a standalone movie and more of an opening act, a much longer 4.5-hour film. It's a bold approach, and one that might actually pay off if chapters 2 and 3 expand the story and give us much more. Harlin himself has said the sequels go into very different directions, following Madeleine Pesh's character across 4 days after the first encounter. Am I optimistic about that? I'm not sure yet, but I'm going in open-minded and giving the sequels a fair shot. I'd love to hear your thoughts too. What did you think of Strangers Chapter 1? And are you looking forward to the rest of the trilogy? As always, thank you for tuning into the channel.
We did it, people.